Hello and welcome to All My Art and Soul. I'm Michelle Holden, the artist behind the channel, and this week's video is a little different as I get closer to my exploration of my inner landscapes, I call them, this whole series. So as you can see, there was a technical issue and I just lost the very first part of the video, but the other two files downloaded. I do not know why. But I decided I've been wanting to start a dark background, Mars black, and put it on very loosely. And what I'm doing is I'm planning to use these layers in a much larger scale on canvas. So that's why I'm being a lot looser. All I would do is use a larger brush and enlarge the scale of similar work. So that's the first layer with peaks coming through. And please stay to the end because the best is last as this inner landscape comes together. It's the very first that's the closest. So I'm adding various blues, turquoise, aqua green, that's Naphthol crimson and cad orange hue in just different areas, and then letting the shapes evolve on their own, as I've said in the last video. So if you are new to this channel, please subscribe, stay a while, and I have lots of videos for you to check out. So then I went more horizontal as I like to do and let the blues and the reds create and the oranges create this really neat mauve. So then I put more of the brighter orange on top and found the collage this has been sitting around for such a long time, and you can tell because the newsprint ages, and that's my favorite thing about newsprint. On one side was blue and the other side was orange. I don't even remember doing this, but I do believe it's done just with a brayer rolled over because it isn't scribbled or anything. So I'm having a blast doing this. It's turning out with the black to have the collage is more of an indigo blue. So it's bringing out the really dark, mysterious kind of blue that's being created with the black, aqua, and turquoise. And I'm just sort of letting things happen and mix right on the substrate canvas or wood panel, whatever you're going to paint on. Now I flipped it and said, "Oh man, this orangey combination, different reds together, different oranges, orange or pink, and it just needed not to hit the edges. I mean, touch the edges, going right to the edge of the page. It sort of is floating in the middle there, and I really like that effect. And what's coming together is a multitude of, say, horizon lines and all of these things. Now, in my previous videos, I've spoken about trying to get away from landscapes. Well, I feel I've come full circle, but getting closer to my inner landscapes, which is a whole kind of, I guess you could call them dreamscapes, but so I let things happen. It wanted to have this land, sky, but you might not even see that. So that I don't want to interfere with your interpretation, and that's why it's tricky. So I was checking out my really, really thin tracing paper here, just with black lines, and I was hoping it would melt into the page, and it did. But on the top, when I was adding this orange, I didn't like the effects. So I rubbed just some of it off, didn't really worry too much because it was pretty close to the collage piece that I put there. I was trying to think of a glowing or a lighter value in behind. But when you're trying to make imitate luminosity in some way. It's that can be pretty tricky. It's a lot to do with your underlayers reflecting up through. So, there's a lot of trial and error and experiences that you need to try different combinations of layers for certain effects. And that's what I talk about when you're accumulating all this experience in your marks, layering, and in your whole entire process. So debated to put that down because I know what it can look like. So I thought, okay, I'll just reduce its size, and I'm sort of happy with that, just because I like 3, and it shows what it could be a little more clearly, but that's okay. It wanted that, so I'm not forcing things. I'm trying to not do that. If the universe wants me to do this kind of thing and I'm letting the painting guide me, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm really loving this whole, how these elements are coming together. The transparency, the real thick opacity, the dark. And I found some words, I must say, inspired, but I was already thinking of a dark painting. I'll read them to you at the end. So stay to the end and you'll find out what text I put in at the bottom of the page. So as you can see, those diamond-y shape or whatever, they were really showing a lot. So I wanted to add the same background, that turquoise, and just skim it over with the color shaper. And I think it worked. So then going at a much lighter value with a layer on top that really pushes those back is a really fun juxtaposition of differences in mark and value. So you've got the high contrast with the upper and subtle in the back. And I know I'm losing my voice, but that's okay. It's another one of these colds that comes and goes or doesn't want to go away, but we're fighting through it. I'm so excited about this page. And of course, it's in my favorite colors that I love to use, but in much darker values. So, and it's the feeling that I'm wanting just for this particular series, Inner Landscapes. And I might add a little subpart to the title. So that's evolving right now. It's been evolving a long time. Little pieces of paintings that I've done in the past. I like certain sections of them, and then I'll keep those in my mind and go, oh yeah, that would look good as an entire painting. So I have some in my studio. You may have seen them in the background that I am going to change. There's 2, and they're blue. So I'm learning this beautiful, more of an indigo or Payne's gray. There's so much going on. So hang in to the end. This is just a short video for this week, and those are great too. My renovation is almost done, and then I can rearrange my studio and start a whole new series of videos for you. And I can't wait. As March break approaches, that's what we're going to be doing. Okay, so I thought, yes, and some colors that I need to experiment with more. You think, oh, this is nice and opaque, and you throw it down, you put it down, and it isn't. So what I was thinking of is continuing with the color of the collage and bringing it up top. And then it lost its effect. Has that ever happened to you? You do something and go, oh, that effect is totally gone. So I didn't put down a gloss layer over that first, which I think in the future, if there's a section that I want to fool around with on paper, as you know, it's a lot more delicate than canvas, I need to remember to do that and dry it. And then I can experiment with layers on top. So thinking that would be, like, it's a great color, it goes with the collage, but it's not helping or reflecting the bottom of my page. For some reason, I really needed, and water reflects the sky, as above, so below, that kind of thing. That's what I'm thinking, and there's many, many things that are going on in this little page. So then I think, oh, I know. Talking with my hands, even when I'm creating. So I was thinking then, the mixture of the mauves below that orange, I'm so glad I didn't touch it. I just wish I could remember how to make it. So I'll write some notes. I wrote down all the colors on the opposite page there, and I'll just finish up this evening with what worked, what I might want to keep, in my mind for other ones, certain colors of blue that are working together, and I will leave them in the comments section below this video. And as I'm wiping away, I realize, just trying to maintain that shape of that collage, I really liked it, and realize I need dark on the top, or it needs dark. And then, of course, whenever you have dark on some really interesting layer, it's great to scratch through. Now, I used the brayer there to lift, and it did lift enough off. Yes, so just trying to get that wider in the middle shape back a little. So it's interesting, all the different colors, and I realize with the big orange shape, I didn't put any of it down in the bottom. That just would have been too realistic, you know what I mean, and like a landscape. But you never know. I might do something like that. I always tweak it, but not very much. I think I like it as it turned out. So please stay to the end. So I'm trying to make that mauve sort of, even if it's close, it's like a neutralized blue, using the orange, using your opposite color. And what did I do next? Oh, yes. So put some of that in, and it's okay. It's actually better. But then I realized if I put black in the very upper edge, I think I use my color shaper here. So right now I'm just thinking, got to do some thinking, but not much. And I realized too, I couldn't really rub that much away just because it's paper. So I'm scratching through with my awl. It's so good to have an awl, and the handle of it is really cool. And I just use it to scratch. I just love it. And if I'm going to do any stitching at all, there's another series coming up, not right away, but later on, where I love to do stitching with skins in combination. And I'm going to continue that. So it's showing some of the orange underneath, and it dries pretty well. It's sort of wavy, but now, since the paper has dried, and when I peeled the tape off the edges, it's totally smooth. So I'm very happy with the results. And then I add some of the bottom color to the top, which then ties it all in. Okay, so the words I'm adding here just are from an old book, and it's lovely, lovely font, and it's larger. It says, "You look down into inky darkness." And those words really intrigued me. And I look for words in text, even cut them apart, take them out of context, and it's, of course, that's what you can do with it. And I put them down the bottom, so it's a high contrast. I might put the reflection of the orange on the neutral page of the text. It's just a strip. And then I'm deciding on one last piece. And it can't be orange. I've got to bring some of that blue from the bottom up top, even though I didn't bring some of the orange down below, which I might change my mind and do some. So, of course, it's in my scrap bin, and oh yeah, here we go with the Posca markers, just highlighting one of the colors that are in that area, so then that adds the subtlety. At least that's my way of doing it. And in this page, I found it, I really, really liked it because it really felt authentically me. I didn't feel, because I know the marks, everything that I was thinking about or have been thinking about for a long time are all from me. There's no borrowed, oh, I'll do it like this, or none of those things came around in my thinking, or in my process, I should say, which is intuitive with a little bit of thinking, but I'm just reacting here to this feeling I've been searching for, and this has been the closest. So that orange is nice and solid and opaque, but it's just not the right color. That's a cool idea. No, I didn't need any more circles. And then there it is. That's it. So it's quite the contrast in the opposite colors, and it just felt so right. So I used it. The 3-second rule. Now, mind you, it gets all wonky and wants to spin around every time I go to brush it, which is so interesting. Now, it's a lot lighter in the aqua color, which I do believe it's more of a teal. So then I add a little bit of the turquoise to it to darken it up, and just a little, which goes a little too far, and I don't know why I smear it all over the black. Don't ask me, it's just one of those things. And then I'm rubbing it all off, and a tiny bit stays on. Mind you, it just with a J cloth, which is getting everywhere. So it's fine, there's no marks. But I do bring some orange pastel in and around this area. So I'm doing some lifting and getting rid of the excess gel medium. But I really love how those lines with the transparent paper melted in. Yeah, so just fixing up that shape, sticking out too much. Some wonderful blues and mauves working there. And then, oh, I know. I know what's coming up. I realize on some other, I remembered with the dark blue Posca marker with the black background would look really cool with the white there. So I don't know if I do that now or peel the tape, or no, it's not there yet. So hang in there. This might be where I get the idea. sort of, I think this page, and I'm really, the only thing that might be recognizable is, say, like multitudes of shapes or horizon lines, but they can be interpreted differently. So I haven't added the blue Posca marker lines yet, and they really add that, they bring out that really dark, that really beautiful blue that looks so nice. And I think I get a hint from it from that darker middle piece of collage that I put on first, and then of course put the other ones on top. So there we go. I may not even have recorded that part, but it's in the photograph or the image at the end. And there we go. So I'm just doing some last minute gluing down that little piece and seeing that there's that little white piece showing. So I remove that with covering it. And as you can see, I don't know if the camera can pick up. Maybe I already had the blue, but here's a much larger image. And as you can see in the lower bottom, it's a lot blue, and I put some blue way up in the top. So I hope you enjoyed this video, Inner Landscapes, and I will see you in the next one.